Hello everyone, welcome to our quick blog training here. As you know, the topic of the day is all about our social media calendar. I want to make sure that you have the tools and resources you need to really get this done well. So I'm going to show you quickly how you can do this without too much hassle. And this is how we're going to get started. So, morning, right, let's delete that. Afternoon. Let's say you're posting 3 times a day on Facebook, and I'll explain this in more depth. Just stick with me here. Twitter, let's say early, mid, late. Let's say you're posting just like 12 times a day on Twitter. And again, both of these I'd recommend you do more. And I'm condensing this for brevity of the video. But here's the basic outline. You're seeing me do it right before you, and this is what I use, and it's a very effective way to just go through and get this done. Now, I'm not gonna put out every single day, again for brevity, but you get the idea. So you put out each date, you put out approximate times. Now, within these times, what you can do, I'm going to stretch this out like that. Within these times, you can put a link to the resource if you have an image. You can put the name of the image. You can put the name of the post. You can put the link to the post you want to share. Whatever it is, this calendar makes it really easy to work with. And then you can also put your text or hashtags or anything right in here. And all you have to do is just format these cells so that they will be within it, which I think it should do automatically. It just depends on how your settings are. But, you know, we'll say, like, how is your new year starting out? Ready to really kill it in business this year? And then you might have a link, fakelink.com/link. Right? And then you'd have hashtag marketing, hashtag social media marketing. See if mine isn't wrapping automatically, but you just usually use Google Docs, but let's see, I think this is still easy enough. You can just go in here and hit wrap text, and it will go ahead and wrap it for you. It's really that simple. I believe it's the same pretty much on any Excel type spreadsheet program you're using. And it's really that simple. You go through, you edit. Of course, before you add anything in here, here's one of the early things you want to do is name all of your sheets. And we'll add 13 here, and I'll tell you why we're adding 13. Because this one is going to be our template. So we're going to go back here to January, right? We're going to copy this. Oh, and let's say we're, again, just posting 3 times on Instagram. And we're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it in our template section, right? So now we have that. Anytime we want to create a new calendar, we can easily access it. And otherwise, you just go through and you name these the month. You obviously do not have to plan out the full year. I would say it's a mistake to plan out the full year. I always want to plan out, though, the month ahead of time. So I have January planned out, right? And then when February comes around, I start on February, I start doing March. Now that doesn't mean that I complete the full month of March. When I'm halfway through, though, February, that's when I go ahead, and obviously you're going to have to change these up here to not be January every time. Just as a side note for anyone who might not be thinking of that. Once you get about halfway through, so once we're at about February 15th, 14th, 15th, is the deadline to make sure that March is fully planned out, it's populated with all the posts, and if you create this workflow for your team, it should really make it easier to make sure you're on top of everything. Again, just keep on reading the post. I'll share a little bit more insight. There are some tools you can use to make this easier. As you should already know if you follow the blog more than just this post, I'd actually recommend posting a lot more on Twitter, and you can get away with posting more on Instagram, and you can get away with more or less on Facebook. But just keep an eye on that, and remember there are tools out there that can help you. Once you plan this out, you can go from there. Here's one final note I'll say about this calendar. Sometimes it's not always the details that matters here. And what I mean by that is Twitter, again, you might be posting 24, 48, 80 times a day. And that's not necessarily my recommendation for every business, but there are some Twitter experts who suggest that you can get away with that much. I'm actually working towards that myself. Anyways, side note aside, you can go ahead and just say, here is going to be inspirational quote. Here is going to be article link. And here is going to be interview video interview. So this is a video interview of me. And I'll say from XYZ. Right? And so you'd go through, you'd post that, and then you say here, free resource download. So instead of actually planning everything out here, sometimes it's just an outline. And the reason for that is when you leverage some of those tools that you'll be able to read about below, if you're on the blog, is you can actually go ahead and then put the details in there. You'll be able to plan out the time, you'll be able to plug all of this in, and sometimes for the calendar it just helps to visualize it like this. I especially use that for high volume places like Twitter. I don't necessarily say you should do that on Facebook or Instagram all the time, and actually I'm not saying you should do it on Twitter all the time. And I remember one final note, make sure to go back through here and also just put time. Maybe you don't post 3 times a day, but you say, hey, 10 a.m., check Facebook for 15 to 30 minutes. And this is to ensure that, hey, you're responding, you're interacting, you're paying attention to everyone. Maybe you have a group that you have to be on, and you put in notes like that. And the reason you want to do this, again, is so everything is laid out, everything is planned, and as with every other plan and strategy in your business, you're not going to follow through 100%. But the goal is to follow through 100%, and if you at least strive for that, you should find that you're following through 80 to 90%. And that should work well enough that you're getting things done. There's going to be those times where actually 80 or 90% is good because you might not be following your calendar, but the reason is because something better came up for you to share, something better came up that you're interacting with. So just keep that in mind. And that's also why not following this plan 100% doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. Sometimes it is better to deviate. But with this in place, you're much better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. If you have any questions, remember to ask them. Otherwise, thanks for watching.